The Monkey's Curse, the Piltdown Man. Did you know that the tropical forests of Borneo are among the oldest and most ecologically rich in the world? These forests are home to a vast array of plant and animal species, including Dipterocarpaceae trees, orangutans, Bornean pygmy elephants, Sumatran rhinoceroses, and many other unique species. My story unfolds in a bygone era within a mysterious jungle of the beautiful Borneo. In this lush and diverse forest, dense vegetation made passage difficult. The climate was warm and humid, with tall trees, thick shrubs, and hanging vines everywhere. The dwellings of the people were simple, constructed from readily available natural materials like palm leaves, branches, and other local flora. In the heart of the mysterious jungle of Borneo lived a passionate hunter named Harun. Harun was not just an ordinary hunter. He was a meticulous collector of bones, sometimes preserving them as precious trophies from the animals he hunted. His collection was renowned among the local tribes, especially because he carefully displayed it in his hut made of palm leaves and branches. Curious people often visited him specifically to marvel at his amazing collection. One could say he was among the first passionate collectors in the world, foreseeing the idea of a museum as we know it today. On a sunny morning, Harun entered his hut to admire his collection as usual, but to his surprise, he noticed that some bones were missing. In the places where the skulls and femurs of his proudest trophies should have been, there were only empty spaces. Harun was furious. Who could have stolen his bones? The thief must be found and punished immediately. Harun's first thought was that perhaps a neighbor had sneaked into his hut.
But it seemed unlikely. What would they do with these bones?
They couldn't display them because everyone knew he had collected them, and they belonged to him. Even if a neighbor had stolen them, they couldn't display them at home because the thief would be immediately discovered. What else could they use them for? Then he suspected that maybe someone from a rival tribe, jealous of him, had stolen the bones to diminish his fame. Determined to uncover the truth, Harun began questioning his neighbors and friends, but no one seemed to know anything. In the following days, Harun devised a plan. He decided to stay awake all night and watch over his collection. He hid in a dark corner of his hut, with his bow and arrows ready, waiting for any suspicious movement. The nights passed without any result, and Harun began to lose hope. Due to fatigue, he became even more upset, irritable, and nervous, unable to communicate normally with anyone as he shouted at everyone for any reason. He became extremely quarrelsome. One night, under the light of the full moon illuminating the jungle, Harun heard a strange rustling at the entrance of his hut. His heart began to beat faster, and his eyes turned towards the source of the sound. To his astonishment, a silhouette, not very large but very agile, moved inside the hut. Harun remained alert and saw a monkey, which seemed to know exactly where to search. In an instant, Harun realized that this creature was the one who had stolen the other bones and now had returned to steal more from his precious collection. The monkey began gathering bones, constantly looking around as if aware of Harun's presence. The hunter remained motionless, waiting for the right moment to act. But out of anger, he decided not to kill it with an arrow, but to beat it to death so that it wouldn't even have a decent death. He felt deeply offended in his pride as a man that an animal had stolen his treasure. When the monkey had its arms full of bones and headed towards the exit, Harun swiftly jumped and struck it on the head. The monkey, surprised and scared, dropped the bones and began to jump frantically around the hut, trying to find an escape route. Leaping up and down, left and right, with Harun in pursuit, the result was that all of Harun's remaining collection, untouched until then, was completely destroyed in this battle between him and the monkey. It was all fit for sweeping out and throwing away. But what was this all about? What happened? Let me tell you. A clever monkey, drawn by the shine and interesting shapes of the bones, stole them to do exactly what it saw humans do. It wanted to display them at its own home, where it spent much time with other monkeys. It meant no harm, just mimicking what it saw humans do. However, when Harun struck it, The monkey got very angry, even though it managed to escape, being more agile than Harun. Before fleeing home, it wanted revenge. Did it learn that from Harun too? We don't know, but what's certain is that it cursed him. It wished for him to die beaten to death, just as he wanted to kill her, and for his descendants to not know whether they are monkeys or humans. And so it happened, though not right away, but after some time. Harun died several years later, killed in a fight with a rival tribe, and his story, along with that of the thieving monkey, quickly became a legend among his tribe. What they didn't know then is that the other part of the monkey's curse had also come true. His descendants no longer knew whether they were monkeys or humans. Wondering how? Let me tell you. Many, many years ago, after Harun died and only his bones remained, a British lawyer and amateur geologist found remnants of his skull. He combined them with a jawbone of a monkey and falsely claimed to have discovered the remains of an intermediate creature between monkey and man in order to support the theory of another Englishman, a naturalist and biologist, a very popular theory at the time called the theory of evolution through natural selection. Because of this theory, people still argue today whether man originates from the monkey or not, and some still behave today in society as if they were monkeys and not humans. And Harun's remains were so successfully combined with those of an orangutan that with this discovery, or rather this hoax, its authors managed to deceive the scientific world for more than 40 years and make people believe that indeed the remains of a creature were found that was neither monkey nor human, but something in between. My story ends here, but I invite you to listen to the historical truths that inspired this tale.
The Piltdown Man was a notorious scientific fraud in the history of paleoanthropology. Since the 1890s, there had been a fervent search to find the intermediate link between apes and humans to support Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. In 1911, an Englishman named Charles Dawson took a human skull and combined it with the jawbone of a monkey. The very primitive jaw and the highly advanced skull were artificially combined to create false scientific evidence. The Piltdown Man was thus regarded as an evolutionary ancestor of humans. Some scholars questioned it, but the majority accepted it. However, in the 1950s, a more detailed analysis of the materials revealed that the human skull and the monkey jaw had been artificially combined. One part was older and the other newer, clearly from different creatures. The Piltdown finds were artificially stained to match the local gravel, and the teeth had been filed down to appear human. Consequently, the entire find was discredited. This revelation had a significant impact on subsequent studies of human evolution, raising questions about the ethics of scientific research and the need for more rigorous methods to validate archaeological and paleontological discoveries.